This week, my main video, I'm covering a long overdue subject on the shape of the earth. If you're subscribed to my email list on my website, you should have received that email of this video. If you weren't aware of this, please go to my website and watch that video. This video is not being made for all. This week, there's just a few things I just had to get off my chest. As I read the comments of last week's video, I kept dealing with the same comments from different people, and I felt that it was time that this topic was addressed. In this ministry, I get a lot of slack and I get a lot of harsh comments from multiple sides for my stance on who is truly Yasharel, Israel. One side says I'm a racist and I use race in my theology. To them, I charge them with hypocrisy, and I've tried to get them to understand the plot twist that is ahead of them for following the lies of the strong delusion. I dealt with those comments and I will continue to deal with them because I understand how difficult it can be to open your eyes and wake up to how much you have been lied to. So that's them. It's the other side, though, that I want to make sure that I deal with. These are the Israelites who are mad with me because I preach and teach a message of salvation for all nations who come into belief of Yahushua the Messiah and are born again. Many accuse me, not all, but many accuse me, and they say I'm not reading the word and the prophecies in full, and I'm teaching a watered-down version of the Bible in order to save the white man. This is the charge I have been given, and the comments were plentiful last week that have provoked me to address it. There is something that I have been meaning to say for a while now that needs to be brought out while I'm still able to. This message is for Yah's chosen people scattered around the world that specifically feel no one else can be blessed and brought into covenant with Yah. I have something I need to say to everyone. Let's begin. Now listen, I normally go in long depths to explain myself and why I feel that the other nations can be grafted into Yasharel. I've actually made that video, so if you want to watch that one and comment on it, then you should do so. The link will be at the end of this video. But I'm not going there for that discussion right now. In that last video, which was a summary but not a comprehensive explanation of the Bible, I spoke about the Abrahamic covenant. There are people who ignored that part and wanted to hold on to their already held beliefs. Please know that you cannot ignore the Abrahamic covenant, but I will not argue with you about it. You see, when I was coming into the truth and understanding who we were, I admit I came into this understanding from the perspective of a Christian, and the understandings that were taught to me by Christianity, they were very hard to put away as I let the word speak for itself. I do not know how many of you came into the knowledge of truth of who you are. I suspect that a great deal of you grew up in the church like I did, but probably rejected it earlier than I did, and came back to the Bible under the truth of understanding who you are while already rejecting Christianity. And for some, that's a good thing because those false doctrines and pagan practices and lifestyles, they can be hard to get over. But depending on how you came into this truth, it can also have scarred you because there are brothers that have been charged to teach this truth while they also teach it from a manner and perspective of hate. For many years, now I don't really hear it too much now, but maybe 6 to 10 years ago, I used to hear messages about Yah with a justification of hate. And I know the scriptures, you don't have to use them. I understand the judgment of Edom and what is prophesied for them. I have not missed this point. Please understand that. That's not what I'm saying. Let me just say that we as brothers and sisters who love Yah and know truly who we are in a very difficult situation. We are victims of deep-seated trauma that sometimes is very easily seen, but other times is deeply entrenched and hidden. We have been oppressed and hated by many. And so when we come into the truth, if we are not careful, we can let the sins of others and our ancestors come back and bite us. So my first message to all of Yasharel is to not forget who you come from. Yah has described our ancestors as a stiff-necked people, meaning we're very stubborn people that do not listen to his voice all the time, and we move the way we want to. This is what our ancestors have always done all the way unto the point where they worshipped idols, made sacrifices unto Baal, and lastly had our Messiah killed and put his blood on themselves and their children, which is why we have been cursed for all these years. You all know that. If we're going to enter into Yah's kingdom, we must recognize what our ancestors did wrong and correct it. We must be what Yahuwah intended for us to be. What is that? And you shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which you shall speak to the children of Yasharel. Exodus chapter 19, verse 6. For I am Yahuwah, your Elohim. You shall therefore consecrate yourselves, and you shall be holy, for I am holy. Neither shall you defile yourselves with any creeping thing that creeps on the earth. For I am Yahuwah who brings you up out of the land of Egypt to be your Elohim. You shall therefore be holy, for I am holy. Leviticus chapter 11, verses 44 through 45. And you shall be holy to me, for I Yahuwah am holy, and have separated you from the peoples that you should be mine. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26. You see, Yahuwah desires us to be set apart to him and a kingdom of priests. We are to be examples of Yah's righteousness and his goodness. We are to be proclaimers of his way. We all know this. The reason why our ancestors were chastised is because they did not get it. They were a stubborn, stiff-necked people who thought too highly of themselves, which led them into constant rebellion. They never understood the purpose of the Torah, and this is why Messiah came and showed us. In your studies, go back to Yahushua's Sermon on the Mount. Think about all the clarifications that Yahushua gave in regard to the Torah. There was a circumcising of not only our flesh that should have been done, but most importantly, our hearts. Think about what Stephen said before our ancestors killed him. You stiff-necked and uncircumcised in heart and ears. You always resist the Holy Spirit, as your fathers did, so do you. Which of the prophets did your fathers not persecute? And they killed those who foretold the coming of the Just One, of whom you now have become the betrayers and murderers, who have received the law by the direction of angels and have not kept it. That's in Acts chapter 7, verses 51 through 53. We are brothers and sisters preparing for the day of Yahuwah. We are preparing for Yah's kingdom to receive the promises he has spoken to Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, and all the other prophets pertaining to us. We can no longer afford to be stiff-necked, stubborn, and our hearts uncircumcised. And so I say all of that to ask you this one thing. My question to all of you is this. At this time, as we are preparing to be a part of a wonderful, glorious promise, why are some of you so focused on who cannot enter into our Father's kingdom? Why does who cannot come into his kingdom concern you? Honestly, our Father, Yahuwah, the Most High, is he not capable of loving us all? Do you not understand what is said in the Torah? And if a stranger dwells with you in your land, you shall not mistreat him. The stranger who dwells among you shall be to you as one born among you, and you shall love him as yourself. For you were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am Yahuwah, your Elohim. That's Leviticus chapter 19, verses 33 and 34. Yahuwah commands, therefore circumcise the foreskin of your heart, and be stiff-necked no longer. For Yahuwah, Elohim is Elohai ha-Elohim, and Adonai ha-Adonaim, the great El, mighty and awesome, who shows no partiality nor takes a bribe. He administers justice for the fatherless and the widow, and loves the stranger, giving him food and clothing. Therefore, love the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Deuteronomy chapter 10, verses 16 and 19. I think many of you are not understanding this. It is important that you do not let false teachers and false understandings keep you with an uncircumcised heart, that you reject the Torah and Yah's commands because of your flesh. You cannot let your trauma influence your heart from being what Yah desires. You cannot let your trauma influence your heart from being what Yah desires. All of us, scattered on this earth, have all had our personal experience with Yah. He has woken us all up individually. Can you imagine that? That he can reach and touch us all individually wherever we are. If you have ever experienced his love and you have experienced his care for you, why would you not want it for the rest of the world? Let me put it this way. As a Hebrew man that has dealt with racism and oppression, even to this day, my flesh often wants to come out and I want to fight. I actually want to go around smacking folk if we're going to be honest. I mean, that's how I feel a lot of times. I deal with a lot in these comments and in many emails. My flesh is constantly being provoked. I thank Yah for my wife, who always reminds me, even when I don't want her to, that sometimes I'm letting my flesh speak. I have made a sign that I have in my room that is a constant reminder to me that I always need to remember. It's a simple reminder of what is said in Deuteronomy 32, verse 35. It says that vengeance is mine, says Yahuwah. Vengeance is his. And I always need that reminder. I need that reminder daily, multiple times, because sometimes I want to be the one that these people see when they realize how wicked and evil they are. And I want to be there and be a part of how they actually come to find all that out. I get all these racist emails, people telling me so many different things that clearly show that they don't have a clue of what the love of Messiah is. I can imagine the comments that will come from this kind of video, people that have nothing to do with this message that I'm telling message is not for you. They're going to be mad with me and ask, why am I making a video addressing only to you? And because I'm making this video, I'm a racist or something like that, when that's not the case. All this can be very exhausting, but I have to always remember that none of this is about me. And so I must do the job Yah has placed me in the position to do. And I feel that many of you just need to hear something very important that I don't think your camps or groups online are telling you. And so I'm here to tell you to make sure that the trauma that these people have done to you and our people does not make you be like them as well and not truly understand the love of Messiah. You must understand his love, and you cannot come from the place that they came to you with. There are many people of the other nations that truly love Yah and our Messiah. That in these comments, they're spread all over the world. I speak to them, I hear from them. You know their love. They love him. I cannot deal with the rejection of them because you are stuck in some viewpoint of hate. And that's why I'm addressing this right now. If we're called to be priests of this world, it will not be by our physical strength, but by our spiritual strength. As we prepare for Messiah's kingdom and 144,000 of us become sealed, we must condition ourselves to be what Yahuwah has always desired for us to be. We must be his special, set-apart treasure that trusts him, loves him, obeys him, and follows him. Here's the truth. In the end, we know what is coming to this world. There's going to be a lot of people that will not be coming into Yah's kingdom. We all know this. People from all tribes, tongues, and nations, including ours. What I want to warn you about is to make sure that you are not a cause of it. Let me explain. You never want to be one that stands before Yah and says that you took it upon yourself to tell people that they are not welcomed into his kingdom. You never want to be a person that stands before our Father and says you told people to ignore his righteousness because it's not for them. You never want to be one that stands before Yah and has to answer for being one who says Yah does not love you and will not accept you. Let me ask you, can you imagine what it would mean for you if you are wrong? I know many of you with your stiff-necked nature want to say, well, I'm not. But just imagine, what if you are? Do you really want to take that risk? If I'm judged for being a display of righteousness to this world and bringing people into following our Father and his commandments, regardless, I know that we're making this world a better place. A place where people love our Father and desire to follow his commandments. And that is a place I desire to live in. A place where they truly serve him, love him, and will trust him. I will take my chances to stand before Yah because I desire to be a priest of his righteousness to the world and a teacher of his righteousness to all the nations. I do not believe that many of you want to take the chance and be the opposite. Listen, in regards to debate, if we were all in a room, we can go back and forth. But in a setting like this, I know it's pointless to go back and forth with scriptures about who can be saved and who cannot. I've been doing this a long time to know that regardless of what I say, there will be a rebuttal. And regardless of what you say to me, there's going to be a rebuttal. I do not desire to be on that kind of cycle with any of you. I only ask, are you willing to stand before Yah and be one that has kept people out of his kingdom? Do you honestly think that that is what he is asking you to do? Are you willing to be one that has told people there is no reason for them to be righteous because no matter what, they will not be accepted by Yah? If you have ever given that message, think about all the people that have believed you. What would stop them from doing more wickedness and exercising more rebellion against the Most High because you said no matter what they did, they can't be saved? If they can't be saved, what are they going to do? They're going to be wicked. And so now you're asking more people to be wicked in this world? It makes absolutely no sense. You're speaking from a level of pride and trauma, and it needs to stop. I sincerely ask that all of us, Yasharel, take a step back from our pride and our ego, our stubbornness and our trauma, and just focus on being Yah's righteousness. Let us focus on fixing the mistakes of our ancestors and bringing people into the love of Messiah and showing what it means to be led by his Ruach. Let us do the work of spreading his good news, and later on, Let Yah decide who is coming into his kingdom and who is not. That is not our decision. We should just be fishers of men and then let Yah decide. We should just want to be a part of it. Listen, I do not seek division from any one of you. But be sure, I do have qualms with any of you that teach a rejection of all nations being brought into the righteousness of Yah. I don't accept it. You are not helping build the kingdom. You are helping make more enemies of it. In the end, I do not think many of you recognize exactly what it is you're doing, and it is because you're being led by certain leaders who should not be leading. I simply and very humbly ask that all of us stop this debate and stop worrying about who can or who cannot enter into Yah's kingdom, and be brothers and sisters that are examples to the rest of the world why they should desire to be a part of his kingdom. If you're judging someone and looking at someone because of their skin color and say they cannot enter in, you are no better than the ones that oppressed you. Do not be a hypocrite. Let us be examples of the fruits of the Spirit, because here's the truth. Because many of us are speaking through our flesh, this is a reason why many cannot understand the truth about who we are. And we're not going to act like and forget that many of them are just racist and they wouldn't get it, obviously. But that's still not everyone. Many of you speaking through hate in your flesh have tarnished the truth. We cannot speak through hate or anger and then believe we are being representative of Yah's kingdom. We must circumcise our hearts and understand truly what Yah has chosen us to be. So please, my brothers and sisters, drop this fight, this debate and strife about who can come into the kingdom, and just be an example of what being a part of his kingdom looks like. Be the example, and in the end, let Yah be the judge of who can come and who cannot. He has woken up our dry bones and has breathed life into them so that we can finally be what he desires and we can make up for the mistakes of our ancestors. And I want it to be clear that that is what this ministry of Truth Unedited strives to be. Maybe you disagree with that. That's your choice. But again, I will take my chances of bringing the hope and light of Messiah to the world and teach those who love Yah to follow and obey him. And I will let Yah decide who is worthy of him and not. For those who cannot get past their trauma, please know this. You need more of a relationship with Yah, and you need it now. You need more of Messiah in your life. So please come to him more and circumcise your hearts. The time is coming that we all must fully prepare ourselves to be Yah's people. Choose no longer to be stiff-necked and stubborn. Choose to be the set-apart people Yah has called us to be, and let all the naysayers and the haters and those in rebellion deal with the judgment that awaits them. Your job is to make sure you do not share their same fate. So please, to all of Yasharel, stop being a gatekeeper of who can enter into Yah's kingdom. This position has not been appointed to you yet. Just be a true representative of our faith and what Yah has called us to be, and trust Yah to sort it out in his day. I hope you can receive this in love, and I pray it blesses you because our time is coming soon. Many of you, please be ready to be sealed and be ready to be the representatives Yah has called you to be. Be blessed. Hallelujah. Praise Yah. Okay, thanks again for watching. This was an extremely important message. If this has blessed you, please make sure to like it and share with any of your brothers and sisters that you know. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Yah willing, I upload every Friday. Don't forget to follow this ministry on Facebook and Instagram, as well as on my website, truthunedited.com. If you have not watched my video about Flat Earth, it is on my website now. I really would like to give a special thank you and shout out to those who have donated and continue to support this ministry. Thank you. I'm very thankful for the love of our Father, and I thank you for your obedience to his call on your heart. I'm humbled by your support, and I'm very thankful for you. You know who you are. I sincerely thank you. Be blessed. Okay. Thanks again for watching, everyone. I love you all.